Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu, I am coming live from Ikapa Lodumo, from the mother city. Aw, ngavele ngabhodla vele. So, tribe, as you come in, send your greetings. Let me know where you're coming and you're joining from. I hope that people can see me because I see no one is here. We live, tribe. So, I'm checking to see if we are indeed live because. Oh yes. Oh please. Yeah, I was like worried if we are live, if people are here or not here. Let's see. Because I wanted to see if I posted. Did I miss out because I was in between transitioning? Yeah, 8 p.m. today. Oh, you see me. How is the lighting, tribe? We actually have already set it up for load shedding. So, good. Everybody just come, greet. Let's allow for a few people to come in. Let us know where you are from. I am currently in Cape Town, so I'm not in Joburg. My house in Joburg doesn't load shed, but here they're going to load shed anytime now. So they've already connected me to the power backup. So please note that if I buffer a little bit, you'll know that we are moving from the backup power to this. Any tribe members from Cape Town? Oh, we've got Tasha Malinga, who's in California. Tasha, are you originally from California, the US, or you are there because of work? Because Malinga sounds like a South African last name. Okay, Akosha from Botswana. Jeanette from Botswana. Hey, the Botswana community is growing, eh? Baharian. Non-Dumizo is from Tesha's from Refararo. Where are you joining us from? Cape Town. Eliza, I'm in Cape Town. Mpo is in Cape. Oh, Cape Town. I needed to know if Cape Town was here because I'm in Cape Town. I'm doing this live from Cape Town. I've got some work I need to do this weekend here in Cape Town. These power cuts are not nice, right? Well, the beauty of being on YouTube is that subscribe, put on your notification. So even if you're load shedding, but you'll be able to see that there's a new video. That's the beauty of subscribing and putting off your notification. Remember, as soon as you come in, like the content. And the more I share, like the content. So today's topic is one that I've been asked for some time by tribe, like Goko. I know I'm gifted. I've been told I'm suffering, I'm struggling, but why am I not being shown who is going to be my Gobela, right? Who is my Gobela? How do I know who's my Gobela? Put your hands up if this is for you. If tonight's life is an answer you've been seeking for, Goko, I've been saying I need to find out, how do I know this person is my Gobela? Or what is it I need to do to find my Gobela? If this is for you, give me Santa Pesco Senior like this. Like this is you, or a hands up sign so I can know that, yeah, hand picking, waving. Okay. Okay, we're not asking questions yet. We are still doing the teachings. I'm going to open up later on for questions. Okay, hand picking definitely for you. Okay. Yeah, I just needed to know, Tasha, this is for you. Mira says this is for me. Awesome. So a lot of people came in because this is important. Please save this. Share it with your gifted family members. It's very important. When you are spiritually gifted, so the topic for today, we're speaking about What are the things and you need to do to open the pathway for the next step ahead in your journey, right? So firstly, the first thing is that be clear that you are meant to be initiated into ubungoma, because there's different kinds of initiations, there's different kinds of spiritual gifts. They don't all require you to go uyo. I'm trying to see what's here. There's something here. Okay. There's different types of gifts. So one thing that is very important is that make sure that initiating into ubungoma, right? So what is ubungoma, or what is isangoma? Isangoma, it's an intermediary between us, the living, and those who've passed on. Is a diviner, is one that is able to access information and intel from the spiritual world and be able to translate it to the people on earth. Because remember, spirit does not always speak in our language. It speaks in symbols, it speaks in signs, it speaks in metaphors. So even when you are initiated, there is things that you are taught to learn how to interpret, signs, symbols, and metaphors from the spirit world. You don't necessarily to have to then go and initiate as a to be a Gobela to know those things. These are some of the most important things, or foundations. At least know a few. You don't need to know everything when you go and become a sangoma. That's one. So make sure that you are meant to be initiated in the field of practice which you are called into. If it's buprofita, therefore let it be so. If it's ubungoma, also understand what type, because ubungoma it's also diverse. The most common one that we see right now is umguni nomdao. I'm gonna teach again about the Mdao spirit, but I've said I felt this is not a fact. This is my own observation as Coco is that Umdao returns us back to our Africanness, because as Africans we became divided by countries, we became divided by nationalities, we became divided by ethnicities, we became divided by tribes. So I feel like our ancestors are asking us to return to the roots of our African identity by taking us through the Mdao initiation process. And what do I mean? Because Ndao, you would then speak a language that is not familiar to your bloodline lineage. And I feel like now it's actually reconnecting us to our own history of migration as Africans. And that's why, because I recognize myself as an African before I recognize myself as a South African, before I even recognize myself as other things. So that's my own observation of why we are going into Mdao, because Gunes Xhosa, Gunes Zulu, Gunes Sotho, Gunes Pedi, there are the different tribal forms of initiation, but I feel like those have actually left us separated as an African nation than united. I hope I'm making sense, tribe. So that's for me important. Oh, siyabonga Nandipha, sandla phezu kwesinye. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. You can make a donation by purchasing a super sticker. And you can also say super chat if you are on YouTube and you want your question to be a priority. It will come up and skip all these other questions. So tribe members, remember to please like and subscribe, put the notification button both on YouTube and Facebook, so that this video can also reach as many people as it could. So thank you so much, Nandip. So be clear of that initiation process. So then it's like, okay, but how do I become clear? That's why the first thing you need to be able to have as a spiritually gifted person is to get a spiritual mentor. Get a spiritual mentor, not only who knows about amadlozi, right? In isiZulu, amadlozi, it's an ancestral energy spirit that still needs work to be done. That's why but ungenwe idlozi, you have been possessed by an ancestral spirit. So in Zulu, it's known as amadlozi, but there's different kinds of ancestors that don't necessarily need to actually possess a physical body and for a mandate or a mission to be accomplished. The Honorable late Maldome Some spoke about one of the greatest teachers. He was a spiritual teacher and healer from West Africa. From one of his books called Born Out of Water and Spirit, he says that ancestors have the spiritual intelligence. They've got the know-how, but yet they don't have a body, right? So they require a living body to fulfill some of their spiritual intelligences. That's why you are not held at hostage by your ancestors. That's why I have come to that conclusion that it can be then I mean, that's one of the reasons why, by understanding that because this is spirit that does not have a physical body, requires work on earth to be done, requires certain missions to be accomplished. So it can't then come and force itself upon you. There has to be a co-creative and mutually beneficial relationship between your ancestors and you yourself. So getting a spiritual mentor is a foundation, a fundamental. So let's say you find out, or you've been confirmed 3 times, or you went for a consultation and like yo, uh Coco, you are gifted. You know, you've got a gift. So it is important because your mentor is not necessarily one who is your teacher. Gobela is a teacher. A Gobela is given initiation codes to unlock and activate the gift for usage. Did you hear that? The Gobela's role is given initiation codes to unlock and activate the gift for usage. The gift is already in you. So the Gobela activates it for usage. It can be active because you'll be dreaming, you'll be seeing things, you'll be thinking of things, and things will happen. You'll be having premonitions. You can be able to read into people's auric fields. You can be all of those things. But when you go for Twasa, you are actually being initiated to unlock the gift for usage and to also rebirth as the healer. So through your rebirth, you need to shed off some of your egotistic pathologies because they are getting in the way of your gift being activated for usage. So I hope you heard me about what a Gobela is. When I'm asking you to find a mentor, I'm not asking you to find a Gobela. We are here to discuss finding a mentor. So when you have been informed, right? When you even, this is not when, if you are suspecting you are gifted, then you need to book consultation. And I would say that maybe see more than one person to validate that indeed you are gifted, unless you've got clear signs that you are gifted, that have no doubt you dream things and they come to pass, and you know yourself you are gifted. But if you are still on a find a mission, then you might want to see more than one person to confirm to you that you are gifted. Your mentor, these are the things to look for in the mentor. Is this person spiritually knowledgeable around the ancestral world? Because not every Sangoma has the spiritual intelligence to understand the ancestral world. The spirit world is a complex ether. So you need somebody who understands the complexity of that ether so they are not misleading you, right? That's one. Number two, you need to find somebody who will also be able to be guided by your ancestral guidance, not want to do things their own way. So your mentor can be somebody who is going to surpass the guidance you're getting to your ancestors. Let me give you an example. If your ancestors say, "Ungaye manzini," and then your mentor says, "I think for us to activate the gift, we need to go and do a ritual in the water." And you say, "Hey, Kokomena, I've dreamt about I can't go to the mountain. I can't go to the river." And they don't check. Which can't you go? Or is it because you can't go because alone you are more vulnerable than with somebody who knows how to communicate and speak to the guardians of those sacred places? Because remember, tribe members, each natural space has a guardian. So your mentor has to be able to communicate with them, but not only that, but can have reverence, meaning honor and respect of the sacred spaces. Understand the rituals of how to access spaces where the ancestral energies are potent in their nature, because you might need one of the rituals where you go uyothandaza entabeni, or you go and uyophatha emanzini so that things can open up. So if they're not able, right, if they're not able to have reference, right, reverence, not reference, sorry, reverence, meaning high forms of respect, that they don't own the river streets, they don't own, this is not social media. We are talking about your life here, because your life force is the spiritual, is the spirit in you that's connected to your spiritual gift. So you need to be able, so you need to find a mentor who is not going to make you feel like things are in a hurry and you gotta act against your will. So you can't find a mentor who wants to manipulate you into doing processes or rituals based on their sense of agency. You also, of course, need to find a mentor who you resonate and relate and can connect with. Because remember, the gift is already there, the intuition is already active. So you need to be able to relate, resonate, and connect with your mentor. This is not your Gobela. A mentor can be anyone. You need to ensure that they are indeed trained and qualified to practice. So, because there's a lot of healers on social media who can claim to be izangoma, but who impande kabani? Where's your spiritual home? Did we see? Is there any evidence in your community that indeed, or did you disappear for a couple of months and emerge, and emerge trained, and we have no idea what has happened? So that's very important for you to understand. And the good thing about doing that, the foundation right there, is because it will help you avoid unnecessary it will help you avoid unnecessary mistakes moving forward with your gift. Because there's a lot of people who don't do the foundation right and they rush into initiation and they realize that actually this person I was shown in my dreams because they are my mentor, not necessarily my Gobela. Tasha Malinga, thank you so much for the contribution, beloved. Really appreciate the money coming in. Thank you, Grace. Welcome from Zimbabwe. So, tribe, I hope you are following through and you are hearing me. So, you find a mentor. Your spiritual mentor is someone that you will work with to understand at least what type of bungoma are you meant to go into, right? Or is it at least a gift? So your mentor you can find as an elder in the family or a sangoma or a spiritual healer you've been working with. And also do not go and move from I go for a consultation, and because I've got clear dreams, I go into initiation. At least try to do a ritual with them and see by doing even as simple as umuntu athi, Koko, I see you're dreaming of me. Please go pass and get a confirmation. And indeed, you get a confirmation. Then you come back and you could see that the dream you've had and the things that they do are in alignment. So do something because you need some sort of confirmation from the spirit world that this person is indeed meant to do some work with you, right? Because somebody can treat you of an element, but doesn't mean they can mentor you with your gift. I hope that's making sense and you guys are following through. We're not talking about surnames, beloved. Mbulelo, we are speaking about, please note the topic of today is about finding when you are not, things you need to do. So you heard, ne? Be clear that indeed you are spiritually gifted and have an idea, not a conclusion, but a conclusive, but at least an idea of like, this is the gift. Ubungoma, uprofita, uthandazeli, ugedla, right? Then number two, find a spiritual mentor. Because that mentor, right, will then help you start to engage in ritual acts that will actually activate and allow for the path ahead to be made clearer. Your mentor can help facilitate rituals that will open and pave the path ahead. Because remember, when you are gifted, because it's a spiritual gift, then there has to be readiness at the spiritual level, and I would say at your level as well. Because when things are still not clear and they're quite ambiguous, chances are there could be a chance that you are not ready. There's not time, it's not time yet for initiation. As much as it could feel like everything is collapsing. I did a stream last week, watch why things collapse when you're spiritually gifted. So also the collapsing of things is to actually start to build your tenacity. It's starting to build your your abilities to be patient and persevere, because petrol, it requires those things. It requires those attributes. So sometimes it gets hard before you go in. It becomes so unbearable so that there's nothing to want to run away from petrol to. I've seen people who go into initiation prematurely. The first 3 months afterwards, they can't take it anymore because it was a premature. It was not time yet. They were just had an unbearable circumstance or an unbearable moment, and they couldn't bear to be in that. Therefore, they rushed into initiation. And when that moment disappears because you are in initiation, then you want to quit your process. As a Gobela, I've seen lots of people who don't finish their processes, and that's one of the reasons. It's not the only reasons people don't finish, but I'm speaking within the context of really finding clearer guidance towards initiation. So I hope people are following me here. Lois, I heard you are following me. So when you comment, I know people are following me. And because we have load shedding, I just need to know people are not lost. I haven't lost people during the load shedding time. So that's important, right? I'm saying that's important. Gift, be clear you are gifted. Have an idea of the type of gift. Number two, find a mentor, because the mentor is incremental to a facilitation of rituals that will actually activate the gift to, and make things much more clearer. Because when the gift is still dormant, there's things that will happen. How you gifted, you've been told, but how things are not yet activated, meaning Guti, your energy frequency of the healer in you is not heightened. One of the things you'll struggle with is like, Mina, I hear that I'm gifted, but I've never dreamt. I've never had a dream. So you know that, yes, there could be other things, because dreams are the language of spirit. So it becomes a non-negotiable if you are going into a spiritual journey without actually having access to the spiritual language, without spirit communicating with you. How do you then go into a spiritual journey? If dreams are the communication from spirit and you are spiritually gifted and you are not able to access the information from the spiritual world, why then go into a harder process of initiation without first starting there? Because your mentor needs to be able to facilitate processes that can do things like activation of dreams. And things of activation of dreams is a variety of ritual processes that might require, that might have to be done, because not those are the things, there are things that causes spiritual blockages, meaning you have no access, or there is a wall between you and the spirit world. So your mentor can then guide to facilitate, even help facilitate rituals and processes that can actually break down that wall, so you can be able to access information from the spiritual world. I hope I'm not speaking PhD language here. We all are clear. I'm coming to you live from Cape Town. That's why it looks really different. Thank you, Stembile. It all makes sense now. So you found your mentor. So let's now speak about some of the rituals that would be important for you to do when you are feeling like still the path is not clearer. And this is the important one. And you see, that's why I say find mentors who understand the ancestral world, because you would have some Gobela say, no, you can't eat what we call gobongo. It's known as gobongo. Some people call it budlu. Some people call it istutu. Abanye bathi slaw. Right? It depends in terms. Igobongo, it's a common Nguni known word, but it's known a lot in KZN. Ibudlu is known around the Mdawu initiation processes. And then Situtu is Sotho, and then Isilawu is Xhosa. I'm not sure spelling. I can only speak of the terms that I'm familiar with. The other terms I'm not familiar with. But in essence, Ipul, please, Gobongo. And I'm doing this and I'm not going to repeat myself. We will refer tribe members, anyone else who comes later on these teachings, to this teaching. Ikobongo, it's actually ancestral food. It's a concussion of healing plants that help activate the gift so the path ahead can be made clearer. Gobongo is ancestral. We call it ancestral food. I mean, that's direct English. I mean, translation, right? That's a direct translation. To in English, it's ancestral food, but it's basically medicine. There are different types of amakobongo. Do not be fooled. Uguti ikobongo, it's only consumed by those who are initiating. That is a different kind of kobongo. Let me give you an example. In Xhosa culture, when we are doing an ancestral ritual, a ceremony, a cleansing, or whatever that is required, there would always be islaw esibethwayo. teta nezinyanya, and some people would require to consume it. So because we have lost certain traditional practices, that's why it's important. Because even when abantwana, there's certain rituals that are done, like it could be a naming ritual that will be accompanied by ikobongo lasekai, right? Or islau sasekai. That's why even islau, in islau, it's connected to istugo, your clan names. Your clan names. So somebody can say, Marcoco, how do I know what kind of kobongo must I take? That's why you have a spiritual mentor. That's why you go and consult to find out to what type of kobongo, because it depends on who is showing up as the guidance and the guides towards the gift you're supposed to be working with. And also it's informed by the type of ancestral gift that you have. Thank you so much, Dimakato. We are really appreciative. I'm glad, tribe members, you are enjoying this conversation and you're finding it very useful. So that's what is very important, right? Guti ikobongo. It's not just kobongo as it's like the golden bullet. No, it's one of the things that can help, right? And then the reason you also have a spiritual mentor is because when you are doing a consultation, tribe members, you are not going to have 40 years, 35 years, 25 years of your life within an hour or 2 hour consultation unpacked to the T. So what comes out in a consultation, it's what is mostly important at the time in which you are consulting. What spirit feels you are ready to hear, because there's people who come and we do all sorts of rituals, and I tell them there's a gift, but there's not much emphasis on the gift. Then they come back for a follow-up, and when they come back for a follow-up, and then I'm like, hey, Coco, the gift's like, oh, Marakoko, there's a gift. I'm like, yeah, I told you about the gift, right? Because remember, each ancestral journey is unique to your lineage. It's unique to your gift. There is no one size fits all, guys. So even when we facilitate Amakobongo at Institute, it's quite transparent what we use. People are there, but we don't mix the same concussion, because when Ikobongo, and Julia, I don't know if Julia, Nkanyamba, please answer if that's you. But the students who are initiating there and those who've come to Cosmos City for Amakobo will tell you, Uguti, it's there, but there's different. There's a file. So when a patient comes at the institute, we open a file and we have to read through the file again before we facilitate the kobong, because different medicines activate different things. So we don't use the same thing, even if we can use it, but it can go into different concussions, or it could be a different combo altogether. It could be a combo, because some combos don't communicate and some communicate much more better when they mix with something else for a particular person and their ancestors. I hope I'm making sense. I'm going to emphasize a lot on Kobong. So that's that, right? The Kobongo, you can't do Kobongo. Yes, Nkanyamba, right? Nkanyamba can attest. Nkanyamba, I train Nkanyamba tribe members. She's based in Tembisa, for those who are looking for a healer in Tembisa. And she's great because she does flower readings. Like, she can pick up things with the flowers. So understand that when you are doing Kobongo, there is rituals prior to the Kobongo ceremony that have to be facilitated. So there could be cleansings. Actually, there must be cleansing, because we need to be clearing your physical auric field and inviting the ancestors that are your guides and guardians through your process of kobongo. So for us, and I recommend it to everyone, don't consume kobongo just at home, because things can be activated that can be overwhelming, that you don't have capacity on your own to manage. Because remember, we are activating. So it's not up to me as Coco, when I'm consulting, to say, yeah, I want to go. When I'm going to activate X and X is going to happen. No, 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 no. We don't have that spiritual intelligence to access everything in the spiritual world. Oh, I think I scratched myself. Right? So I hope this is very interesting. So you have to have your kolbongo facilitated where you can also be mentored. So we do it at the institute, because people go into trance, somebody who's never in their life been into a trance. I had a kobongo patient who was in a trance for the whole day from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. She was also shocked herself, like, I have never, ever, and I never, ever thought, because it was during December and it was my break, but I was on the call with the person who was a facilitator of that process for her. And it's like she's been in a trance the whole day. And something that really helped recheck this ancestral spirit and say, so Kwanele, it's fine, was Joko tea. So how would you be able to do that for yourself if you're on your own? I know there's people who can go to Farate and buy it, but be careful, especially if you are gifted, guys. Unless if it's a kobongo for like, no, I'm just trying to open things up, nothing hectic. But please, self-medication has its cons. It's all I'm going to say. Self-medication has its cons. So be very careful. And you also don't want to go and do kobongo with somebody you've never had a spiritual message to actually work with. So most people, if not everyone, we facilitated amakobongo for at Cosmocities because they've had dreams about me. And not only just dreams, but dreams that are related to initiation. So we say you do kobongo so it can confirm. So we facilitate different ones. There's ones where we would actually give to say, because you've already seen part of my initiation codes, let's give your ancestors impande, which is very important to me. We're going to give them impande. So impande is the root medicine that is connected to initiation. Impande. So the root in you see, impande is connected to the root initiation of my mpande. So if you've seen, not because you've dreamt of Asikita or we were giving a talk, no. Once you've seen an initiation code, I would say to you, this is a clear, because this is what I do, right? And the reason I do not show my things on social media is so that what people see is authentic and genuine. It's not I've absorbed it, I've taken it in because I saw content. Because healers are sponges. We do absorb content. You see something, movies, people shooting each other, you'll dream being chased with guns. And you think, oh my God, this is what's going on. And my enemy's after me. No, you just watched something like that, something similar. Loiso, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it, trap members. So you understand what I'm saying? So we give different types. So there would be one, and this one I don't know if every bandit does. I don't know, but we do that because I would say to you, I am going to give you part of the route that we use for initiates, because they already shown you that you are meant to be an initiate at the institute. One is to confirm if lempande mhlophe, and that's what their ancestors want. To confirm that indeed this is what your ancestors want, and if they've had a taste of it, because before I commit you for a year, at least be committed for 10 days. Right? And then secondly, to also make sure you can handle what we do empandeni, because when you go into Kobongo at the institute, you get to have an insight of what Uktwasa is about. We give you what we call pre-initiation. You will not see the rituals, because when there's sacred rituals, we normally move you away, unless it's a simple one that is just it's private because it's at the institute, but you are there. And I'll tell you, like, if you dream of this, I'm not going to take it, because I know the Kobongo patients that come, even though they were not consulted by me, I'm like, this one, I'm not going to take it. I need something more substantial. The reason as well, even if you can dream of one, I require more than that to be sure, because this journey is so volatile. It is your precious time. It's your money. It's your health. It's your wealth. It's so much that is invested that we cannot just make a mistake with it. And this is what I've learned. I know there's people that sometimes I initiate them. So what I do now, I try get people into screening test of assessment when they have to come for initiation, because people can see things and they can be fine, but they don't make it because there's certain hindrances that are occurring. Please try. Remember to please like and subscribe and put the notification button. I think I've shared extensively because that's what I wanted to do about it, Kobong. Make sure that if it's a Kobong or to activate the path ahead, do it at the healer's place, right? Do it, because there's a process behind it. Don't just eat kobongo without consulting. Don't do kobongo without doing some sort of cleansings. And there is lots of cleansings, guys. It's not one. Don't be like, oh, they said I must do a river cleansing. What kind? because there's different kinds of river cleansing. So I'm not going to speak about them here. But from the top of my head, I can know like 10 cleansing rituals at, cleansing processes at the river. So it's not one size fits all. You get consulted so that you can be given a tailor-made package that is going to serve what your ancestors are they're asking. So Kobongo is one of them, right? Number two, there are rituals, family rituals that might be required so that the ancestral connection between you and the spirit world can be deepened. What are some of those rituals? Like in Belego, for example. Because I know that, did I do? Yes, I did. I've been having a gift for so many. I've been told for years I have a gift, but I had my Belego at 23, and then I had my Gobongo at 27. Yes, I had my Kobongo done at 27. So it's important. And the reason it's important to have your Kobongo being mentored and overseen by someone is because there are dietary restrictions, but there are also ways in which you have to carry yourself when you do Ikobongo. So if you're at home, you don't have the discipline, just not eat particular foods, So you might be doing a kobong that says no to seafood. So if you're there and like, oh my God, the paella just smells so nice, those prawns are to die for, then you're going to jeopardize. Then it's not going to do the things that it requires you to do. We even say to Abokoko, there are things at the institute, we say, please do this because you don't know. Because ekobongwen, you are not only going to heighten your dreams, but you are going to heighten your other senses. You are going to also open pathways to other ways in which you can access information from the spirit world. Because I've had people who says, hey, my God, I it wasn't a dream, but I just closed my eyes and I had this very vivid vision. Or it wasn't a dream. I was busy washing dishes at the sink and I heard a voice that said, La Gugasbanban, or would speak of a name that only maybe the leadership of Mbanda will know, not even the initiates. Then that's what we mean, because you are actually also opening other communication or accessing information in other ways besides the dream landscape. So that's why Kobong is important. So rituals like Mbelego are important because Mbelego, remember, is to root you in your ancestral lineage. So when you are rooted, then the ones who are messengers, who are there to bring in messages from the spiritual world, because there's different kinds of ancestors, like Amatong. Amatong, we say these are the ones who bring messages to us through dreams. Then you will be able to then start to tongue. You'll start to what have you dreamt about? So sometimes you don't have those dreams because you are not connected, you are not rooted. So there is no chronological order to these things because spirit doesn't work in the order the way we as the physical people want to work. Spirit doesn't work into the standards that you can do Ikobongo, then later on go have to do Belego, then no, you have to actually go to look for your great grandmother's this. There are many things. So I was saying, Uguti, these are the things. So also going to do umpasho at sacred. So I spoke about Kobongo lengthily because I was making sure that this is important for everyone to know. So I can refer people to this teaching when they say Kobongo, what is Kobongo? Because I get the questions a lot. And I spoke about the importance of Mbelego. Mbelego, Basotho ba tlo re ke mphabadimo, ke go bega ngwana, right? And a ceremony where you are actually introduced to ancestors is also important. So it doesn't mean that if you have not had it, you're not going to have the dreams that are going to tell you where to go. But I'm saying we are not all the same. We are not all the same. Some people don't have it and they still can find, and they can find that they will do that after their toss-up processes. Things don't happen the same way at the same pace for all of us. You can tell good things. Yeah, I'm in the Western Cape. I'm in Cape Town. So, right, I spoke about the ritual kobong. Then what is also important, but please, your mentor, of course, who is a spiritual healer, unless if it's an elder who knows rituals and cultural practices in the home, it can't just be anyone, guys. You need somebody with knowledge, experience, and understanding of ritual processes that are connected to activation of gifts. So then we go to number 3, right? Go and have umpahlo. Umpahlo is like go and have some sort of ritual communication engagement with the ancestors at a sacred natural space. Somebody will have to go to a mountain. I know that there would be people that even after Kobongo, their dreams will still not be very clear. They won't remember. And then I say, okay, come, let's see what's going on. And then we take them to the river. Emanzini. Oh, remember water. Water, it's an element of rejuvenation. Water actually allows us to flow as the physical people into the spirit world. Water awakens, water enlightens, water is a revealer. That's why you can see through water. So for some people, they require even post Kobongo, even if when you took them, but they want after Kobongo for some sort of ritual to be happening at the mount, at the reef. For someone, it could be good. Now that you've done Kobongo, there is a side of the family, maybe your maternal or paternal side, are now also now there's this one saying good, Mina, I want to go first, and this one says no, but who the hell are you? So you can find that there is a battle. Then we might say, okay, Coco, we need to go to some place where we are going to speak to them and say, no, 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 no. Because when you are gifted by your paternal side who never acknowledged paternity, but they are wanting now to be the ones who are in the forefront. So these are some of the things I hope with what I'm saying today, you all see how necessary it is when you are gifted to have a mentor, a spiritual mentor who you work with, and preferably find somebody who has the know-how of the type of gift. So if you've been told you have to be ikehla, then find ikehla who can mentor you, not initiate you. If bathi wena fanele ube isangoma, then find isangoma that, but understand ukuthi this is a sangoma that understand. Like I said in the beginning, knowledge is very important. Mpompelas is asking, do we have gifts that don't necessarily need activation? Then what is a gift for? Why would it not need to be activated? If that's the case, then why would it not? Lois, I like what you say here is that the complexity needs a very particular tenacity in it. You see, it's very important to be guided by somebody who understands the complexity of the spiritual world. Because if they don't, then you are stuck, right? You are stuck and you get confused. And how do I find one? Pasha and ask. If you're not finding one through Pasha, then you try and consult. Consultation, guys, does not it's not a contract to be working, even when somebody's your mentor, even whatever. Nobody is held at hostage by somebody else. No one. Yeah, yo. Beautiful Kokolo sharing in Manziville, crew stop. I will catch up at 10. Lots of love. And Lanzi Institute. Thank you so much. I can feel because I've got like 3 lights. I'm feeling so hard. So I'm gonna take questions now. We've got quite a few minutes here to take some questions. So tribe, I'm done. These were the 3 most important things I wanted to say. Spiritual mentor. Right. No, it's actually I mentioned 4. Be clear the type of gift you have. You understand? Be also clear if it's ready yet to be activated for usage, because that's why you go for initiation. Number 2, understand, have some foundation about the gift. Right? Have about foundation to about the gift. Do I have is prophet, or do I have umguni? Do I have ichong and imshop? What exactly do I possibly have? You don't have to be 100%. Then commit to working with somebody who can mentor you, meaning interpret your dreams, because your mentor will also help interpret your dreams. Be clear of the metaphors and symbols that you have been given. Then 4 is then do ikobongo. And this is not in order. The Gobongo and Imbelego are not in order. So I'm saying do ancestral activation rituals, Ubungoma rituals, which is Ikobong. Then do go and which is Ikobongo, which is things like Imbelego. I'm mentioning too, there's many other things, because otherwise people will go and like, yeah, I think I need Imbelego. I'll try Kobong. I'll try that. I'm just mentioning too, there's more. Please note, disclaimer, The two is not the only things you can do. There's more. I'm just, for purposes of teaching, I'm not going to go to everything, because then I'm not teaching, I'm revealing everything. Then the last part then is actually then use natural spaces for activation, right? Of, to help activate the next path ahead. So yeah, so these are the things that I wanted to say. So this is how you can find, this is what would help you find your Gobela. Then maybe next week I'll speak about how do you know this person is your Gobela, right? Maybe if you are up for it, I can say that. Do you just ask someone to be a spiritual mentor, or your ancestors choose a mentor for you? Well, some people is you'll see the mentor through dreams. That's why when people come to the institute, even when they've dreamt of me, I don't conclude that I am their Gobela. It depends on the dreams. I will tell them that your dreams are really indicating that, because you're seeing my initiation code. So chances are, I still leave it as chances are, not most definitely I'm supposed to be your Gobela. So you can see the people through your dreams, but I did say to you that connect to the person, relate and resonate. Because to mentor you doesn't mean it's your Gobela. And with mentorship, you can leave anytime. You can be like, you've gotten me to this far, but beyond here, I'm gonna find somebody else. So that's fine. Versus your Gobela, it's your spiritual parent. You can't divorce your spiritual parents. You can't undo the womb that given you that birth your spiritual gift. You can't undo it. So with mentorship, you can be like, okay, they've served me, then I want to look somewhere else, so I'll pass up for someone else. So it's not always like you need, remember, the ancestors don't choose anything. They don't choose your Gobela. They don't force anything on you. They are your guides, guys. They are ancestral guides that are coming to help you with the gift that you've been gifted by God already. So they don't choose, they will guide you to the Gobela. They will guide you to a mentor. They will guide you to the places in which you need to be going into, because now as a human being, you've also forgotten some of your spiritual intelligences, because now there's things that have happened. The environment has shaped you, your educational background, your religious and cultural belief systems also interfere with you understanding deeper messages from the spirit world. So yeah. Coco, what does it mean when no, guys, uratile, no dreams. Let's be respectful. Can Ikobongo be done by someone with profeta, or is it ubunyanga only? Well, sas profeta, Coco, if that's the gift you are given and you are trying to figure out who's going to be the person who's going to train you, or how looks at this profeta, then if they give more profeta, but why would, because there's a ritual with every kobongo. So if this person, and we're not lebu bungoma, and you want more profita to do that for you, then how will they know the ritual prior to the ceremonial kobongo that meant to be done? You can't ask a dentist to work on your eyes. That's all. That's the metaphor. You can't ask a gynecologist to help you understand your ear infection, unless if it's related. But you go to a specific person who's got the specific knowledge on, on a specific topic. If if you got, if your child will go to a pediatrician if they've got a illness as a baby, right? So let's be clear on those things. Desert Rose, thank you so much. These are priceless teachings. You are very, very enlightening indeed. Thank you so much, Rose. Really appreciate the contribution. That's a lot. I don't take this contributions for granted. I know it comes from the heart. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm trying to go to the questions. The journey is long. I think another thing to emphasize, Coco, is that one should be in a rush. It requires patience, definitely. But because remember, I touched on this, Mampo, to say that in the beginning of the teaching, that things also do fall apart and collapse to actually start to exercise your patience muscle. A lot of times people are misled, or people do the wrong things because they're impatient and they want things now, right? Yeah, it's got some bill. I haven't even finished my food. Kwakugcwele abantu bazi-fakes. I'd love to see you. Yes, you can come. You're welcome to come. Can a couple be referred to at different pandas if they're both gifted? You may That's a broad question. In relation to what? Mm. In relation to what? I just got defeated. Gobela one passed away. She was old. She didn't want to assist me because of health issues. She left me hanging while talking. My heart is breaking into pieces. I feel lost and I don't know if I will finish my journey. No, Tando, go and consult and find what you can find out, or go past and tell your ancestors that she's gone, and it made sense. She had challenges. And actually, it would have been best when she told you that for you to go back and say, this is Simosak. So what do I need to do? Not all is lost. I go to consult. They don't tell me anything. They just prepare medicine for me. They tell me how to do things happening and people that I dream to see. Then find somebody else to follow it. That's the other thing. Sometimes, ah, like, that's already like, how is that person gonna mentor you if they just give you medicine and they don't say anything? Yeah, that's an obvious one, right? Mpo, I think you've answered my initial question. I asked if a ritual is necessary for activation. Here you explain the certain environments that can be a way. Yes. Yes. Okay, great. Um, can your ancestors make you not to consult? Guys, nobody can make you anything. I've already emphasized on this over and over again. Your ancestors don't make anything. Your ancestors are your guides. They're guiding you on the spiritual agreement you made before you incarnated as a physical being. Because of that, we are now into the physical world. We don't hear, that we know uh, our spirit self does not amplify, um it's not amplifying messages for us directly, so we get guides and guardians. So they don't, if you are going to be guided by spirit, then you won't need interpretation. If it was like kulisa or backbones into, then you can't go, yeah, minabati, I must self-initiate, but then I had this dream that's confusing me, then already I will say red flag. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yasha, how do you do the journey? uh, Europe, it's we've had people come from Jamaica. We had people come from all over the world. So you do the journey. You will have to know through consultation, Yasha, what is required. But if the Kobongo journey, but people fly, because that one I don't compromise on. I can't send you stuff and ask you to open a world that no one can hold space for you. That's actually endangering your life. So when it's Kobongo, you just have to come to South Africa, make time and come to South Africa, save money. That. And what I've seen people in Europe do, they will actually double the trip and go also visit their home country, because they haven't been, because that's also part of activation of dreams and messages of the path ahead. One dealer, we're not doing dreams, guys. Let's not. And someone is meant to be initiated by you and they go consult with your graduates. Do your graduates know exactly what you are looking for before taking initiates? Well, we all have, there's a protocol. So if you go and consult with graduates, when they, unless for graduates who have already, but I know the graduates, there's very few graduates who are already fully fledged gobelas who are not training to become gobelas, but they will still send me dreams for me to verify if the people are seeing our initiation codes and our mpande codes. So when they are graduates, when you are dreaming, they will still send me your dreams. If your dreams are leading them to our mpande, they will still send me the dreams, because they have to level impande. So you cannot toss her with Ukobela who has not been initiated into Gobelaship. Because Batu Global Impanda, when we speak about it, and there's lots of Gobelas who have not really been initiated as Gobelas, but because they had a beef or a moment with their Gobelas and they're like, wow, I'm gonna go find my own path. It's not only about impande, the medicine, but there are, you get taught ceremonies, you get taught rituals, you get taught so much when ulobola impande. You also learn. It's so different being isangoma than ukobela. That's all I can say. When I was isangoma, how I saw things and I understood things was limited to when I was ukobela. So I'll tell you this. My initiates now, I was telling them, good thing. Umuntu mekathwasile ungajahi ukumdlisa igobongo because maybe uthwase wrong. There's type of questions I will ask you as a gobela that I wouldn't know how to ask you when I was just a sango. That can tell me ukuthi where you initiated, it was, didn't go well or it went well, because I do find people who went to other bandes, and because they're not getting what they wanted from that, and then they think their process didn't go well, but it did. And I'm not going to sit there and talk badly of Gobela when I know Guti the steps, even though we are different bandas, but the steps that they followed are initiation steps, because there are steps to be followed as an initiator that are really quite similar across boards, especially Gumguni Nomdao, even though in bandas it has fun. But I know ukuthi angeke udle intwaso ungasukumanga to sampalapa abanye bazothi ungagqokisanga ungambathiswanga umngamazo. You see, these just, I know, don't ask me what those are, because you'll know them when you go to initiation. But I know, right? Angeke sikufake intwaso ungakagajelwa kumnguni nomndalo. But then there's people who say like, no, I didn't, this is what happened. There's questions I ask. Three simple questions when you come for a consultation as an initiated Sangoma who there things are not going well. I'll ask you three. And in those three questions, before even Nshama Tambo, I will know what cha. Because I'm a Gobela too. And I know how easy it is for people to say, yeah, but my Gobela didn't do the right thing. That's why you need to wait for spirit to guide you. So you don't go and say my Gobela didn't do the right thing. By going where you are shown, you also have spiritual protection. You have spiritual protection. So meaning that your Gobela can't tamper with you, or they can't tamper with the gift, because the gift is already encoded in you. They can tamper with your temple to disconnect from the gift and your ancestral world, but they can't tamper with your ancestors. They can't steal them. They can't do that. They can work with your physical. But when you are taken where you are sent to be taken, you get spiritual protection. Gogo, what do you do when you see someone as your potential spiritual mentor, but you don't want to use prophet or through church influence? Hey, Coco, you see, the thing is, I'll tell you, I don't want to be Muruti. Ne? I never wanted to be Muruti, but you see, we need to be discerning about our because our influences, is it like, who is it inconveniencing? Is it inconveniencing the person you've already sold yourself to be in the public? Because I must tell you, it was really difficult for me as an African spiritual teacher to say that I'm going to go back into Christianity, because that's where I started and left Christianity. It was really difficult, but it landed me a night in jail for saying no, because my spirit wanted what my spirit wanted, and the information then when I got this and I was reading the Bible and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And God said, we need you. We need you to use the very same book that has moved Africans away from themselves in an honor of and misinterpretation, because interpreters are the ones that are misleading. But when you're reading this book, yes, it was used by many people to do horrible things, by many people to do horrible things. But when you read those words, there is things about Africa and Africans that we will not, there's chapters and scriptures that will not be read, because it will not fit the narrative of those who benefited from us moving away from ourselves. So it took me a long time. It took me a long time to say yes to the calling, because that's the spiritual agreement I made. It's not my ancestors. It is the agreement. I need to honor the agreement. If I don't honor the agreement, there are consequences, and be willing to suffer the consequences. And don't blame it on the ancestors or on others. It's on you. Because your spirit is, the ancestors are there to remind you that, hey, uvumile wena. And Larina, well, something's bothering, because people, they go to Asa after that, no one is coming. What happened, Coco? Not everybody goes to Asa and Coco to go become a healer. And I think that's a mistake. Social media has made everyone becoming an aspiring celebrity sangoma, aspiring social media sangoma, aspiring. We're not all called for the same things. We are not. And if you don't understand your gift, you'll want yourself and everybody else, but deny who you are called to become. If you will go and aspire to be somebody else and deny who you are called to become. So my last thing is that for your path to be made clearer ahead, limit content on ubungoma, especially the content that is explicitly showcasing rituals that are not supposed to be shown. We've seen on social media, on Facebook, where people like pull down those pictures, those videos are not meant to be showed. Move away from also conflicting teachings, right? Teachings that make you feel like ungathi you're taking 10 steps back. Move. Even if it's my teachings, move away. Retreat so that you can really find clarity. I was told that I need to do a ritual acknowledge my paternal side, even though my parents were not married. The ritual should be done at this Gobela's place, or else I'm going to die because they're not protecting me from my enemies. As in Coco, I don't like people, anyone who threatens people with ancestors. That's a red flag. But I don't know because I didn't consult you. I don't know if you will die because of this ritual, because your ancestors are not protecting you. It doesn't make sense. They've never acknowledged paternity, but I don't want to, because it's also a sentence, Gok. You're not giving me the full context. Try, please don't put me in a compromising position where I need to give insight and input on what another Sangoma said without me having full context. I don't know. I wasn't there. So ask them what it means. Let's be integral in such a way that let's not ask other Sangomas to give their opinions on other people's diagnosis, because a diagnosis was reached because there was a full-on consultation that was conducted. So I'm coming here and giving you insight on a paragraph, and maybe you're omitting other things because there's only so many words you can use. But if you're already feeling uncomfortable, go seek, go consult and get second opinion before you go proceed and do that thing there. I think we need to be normalizing those things because we don't do that to doctors. This is what also creates a lot of beef and rift between the community of practice, because we have people coming and asking us to give, like, yeah, Coco, this one took me. I see the things that I see that I've seen, and I can call out like, no, this is not right. We can't be doing this. This is not how we as healers should be carrying ourselves, because there is a code of ethic that we know that there is common threats amongst all of us. It doesn't matter what kind of panda you came from. We know which into us is not supposed to be shown. We all know that. We know they're not supposed to be shown. We really know. Thank you so much, Mamgazi, for putting the consultation details there. So we really know. We know imfihlo zempande are not supposed to be shown. They're not supposed to be public consumption content. So that we know. It doesn't matter what impande you come from. We all know. We know. I know one of the things that I was taught, and I've had it in several mkitis in impande, when there's a graduation, they'll tell you ukuthi sangoma sambi sithukane estradeni. You don't go thukana because you're an elder. Akabhidlizi, akabulali. So all of those things imthetho that cut across irrespective of which mpande you come from. So yabona ezinye amampande that umuntu impande nini kuphi yakabani. Like, don't, like, ibuyaphi impande yakho? Yeah, okay. Marubani umnikazi, have you met any of the elders? Because some of us is just us youth who just go to mkiti and hear ukuthi yebese unjalo kakhulu, yebese igama lami. Then somebody comes back and say yebese igama lami umabani bani, insizwa kasibani bani, ubaba. You don't even know those people. And they can't all be gone. I mean, I'll tell you, my Baba is still alive. My Gobela, my father, my spiritual father, my spiritual grandmother is still alive. My spiritual great grandmother sibling is still alive, but my great grandmother is not alive. But the sibling is still alive. So I have elders asembandeni who people have seen, who knows with impande, le impande ngithwasisa kuyo impande kabani. Where, and I know the history of it. Even with my ministry thing, I know to ubaba mubani, who's my spiritual father, who's my spiritual grandmother. These are very important things, because you just go poo. You don't go your twasungas to your twasa in. But to umdawu, have you seen things that are connected to umdawu? I don't speak about ipai lenjiti because that's common knowledge. That's why it's important to avoid content on social media, guys. You are an empath. Your response should absorb even information that's not meant for you. It's just because it's sitting in your subconscious. Yeah. What you're touching on is heartbreaking. My eyes ache to such sites on social media. But what can we do? It's the modern world. We are gonna have distasteful things, but we need to learn to be discerning ourselves, because we need to be able to take responsibility of what we consume and what we don't consume. And some of us, it is our journey to get banned before we actually get well. We have to be banned several times because it's part of your initiation. We're all different, and that's why I limit my social media engagement. I use social media as a teaching tool. I won't go, and because I'm such a sponge, and I'll start be like, oh my god, all this, all that. There's a lot of distasteful things that I see, but I'm like, okay, if you are a healer and I follow you, it's because I know you. I've interacted with you, I've engaged with you. There's some sort of relationship. But if your content goes left, uzongipostela ezinye izinto ezizongitrigger, I don't. But thank you so much, tribe members. That's it for the night. Save this, send it to whoever that needs. I explained Gobongo and so many other things explicitly. I hope we all get it now. You can always watch this video over and over again to, be clear and get insight. And you see, the thing about your Gobongo being facilitated by your mentor in closing is that you can always go back and say, yeah, but I'm still stuck and this is not working out. And is this right? Is this that's happening right? Is it meant to happen that way? That's the beauty of having mentorship. That's the beauty of having mentorship, is that you are not on your own. You are held. And your mentor's role can end the day you are led to your Gobela, so that your Gobela then can take over to the next path. But some other things that your mentor might end up being your Gobela. But let spirit lead. Let Lozi lead. Let go and let Lozi. Because in that way, you are doing yourself a service. You will thank yourself for the rest of your journey as a spiritual healer. Jablida, I don't like doing lunch with tribe members because then it becomes an interview and it becomes but thank you for the offer, beautiful one. But I don't do it because I end up working, because people, I mean, the relation we have is tribe and cocoa. So there's no way we can just have topics about the beautiful food and the nice ocean views. We are going to get into issues of African spirituality. And this is what I've noticed actually with people that follow me, even with some of my patients. Some I do have friendships with because we resonate and relate outside the work itself and other things. But what I've also found, because sometimes patients will go take me out for lunch, and I'm grateful, but sometimes I have to say no, because then the conversation is that it's no longer lunch. So Coco, tell me, how did you get into TV? Coco, so I've been wanting to do this. So now you're actually paying for a lunch, but you are asking for my expertise. Then it feels a little bit weird. But they're friends, patients friends, and when I have close friendships with them, then I release and excuse myself from being there, you know their spiritual healer, and then I allocate them to one of the Gogos Omkulus at the institute. Yeah. Yeah. It's the noise from the backup saying time is up. Thank you so much, tribe. Bye.